you mentioned the book of the Unmentioned God. But you talked about, that's in the book of mysteries.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the things that's coming up on God's calendar is Purim. The next holy day that's coming up on the biblical calendar is Purim. So I thought maybe just a little cool thing about Purim, and a little taste of the book of mysteries. You know, I know we're gonna. I can either say it or I can read the mystery. Or
what page is it?
It's page 70.
Okay, so for those of you at home, turn to page 70.
You want me to just?
Yes.
It won't take long.
Yes.
It's just a cool thing.
Love it.
And it's a little bit about Purim. You should know it. Okay, so this from here, a little taste. The teacher took me to the chamber of scrolls. We sat down at a small wooden table upon which he placed a small ornate scroll. This, he said, is unique about all the books of the Bible. Do you know what makes it different from the rest? The name of God. The disciple says, the name of God makes it different? The teacher answers, the absence of the name of God makes it different. The book of Esther is the only book of Scripture that contains absolutely no mention of God. That seems very strange. It would seem to be a godless book, said the teacher. In fact, it's filled with godlessness, evil people, evil plans to annihilate the people of God. You can think about this election. And it's not just the name of God that's missing, but also it seems his presence. Darkness reigns and God's nowhere to be found. The disciple says, so is the book of Esther less holy than the other books in the Bible? No, he replied, not at all. It says holy as all the books that mention his name. That's the point. Even though the name of God isn't mentioned, the hand of God lies behind every event. He's there, unseen, unmentioned, yet working all things together and turning every event around to fulfill his purposes. Esther is the book of the unmentioned God. And the book of the unmentioned God is a most holy book. It's the book that speaks of all the times you do not feel the presence of God, when you don't hear his voice, when you don't see his hand, when there's no sign of his love or purpose, when he seems far away or not there at all. So when all you see is darkness, that is the time of the book of the unmentioned God.
Wow.
And it's telling you this, even though you don't feel his presence, it is still there. Even though you don't see his hand, it is still moving. Even when you don't hear his voice, he is still speaking, even in silence. Even when you feel abandoned and alone, still his love is there. And even when he seems hopelessly far away from you, he's still right there beside you, working every detail in your life for his purposes and your redemption. And in the end, the light will break the darkness, the good will prevail, and you will know that you were never alone. He was there with you all along, and it was holy. It was the time of your book of the unmentioned God.
Amazing. And isn't that so true? We've all experienced that.
Yeah, every one of us. And that's why it's so cool that there is a book that doesn't mention God, and yet it shows you God is there all the time.
Yeah.
Because we all have, that's one of the most important things in our life, is that time of the unmentioned God. We don't feel it, but he's there, and that's what it's telling you. If it's hard to see, look at the book of Esther, and you cannot see God's hand every second, and yet it doesn't mention his name.
Nope.
Thank God for that.
Yes.
Because we've got a lot of our life is like that.